No, the truth is, my constituents care deeply about net neutrality. Just last March, more than 150 of my constituents attended a town hall meeting to voice their concerns. The way the FCC has handled this proceeding makes me question whether the agency even cared to hear my constituents' concerns and the concerns of millions of Americans who voiced their opposition. From the agency's failure to respond to my repeated requests regarding fabricated DDoS attacks, to its failure to respond to FOIA requests, and its failure to make thousands of submitted comments part of the record, there are major questions about how the proceedings were handled. In fact, FCC Commissioner Rosenworcel has accused her own agency of hiding information. Chairman Wheeler.
Sir.
Briefly, please. Would you make...
We've been hanging around too long.
What would you make of how the agency handled the proceedings, and is this any way to run the show?
No.
That's brief. Thank you. More than 9.6 million identities were stolen and used to file fake comments in this proceeding. About 26,000 of those are my constituents' identities. It's my understanding that these actions are now being investigated by federal and state law enforcement agencies, and it's been publicly reported that Broadband for America and Free Press subpoenas are part of this investigation. Chairman Powell, what is the NCTA's relationship with Broadband for America?
We're a member of it.
Does Broadband for America still exist?
Yes.
Is Broadband for America complying or its former representatives complying with subpoenas and document requests for the investigation?
Yes, my understanding they are.
Good. Did the NCTA ever engage Broadband for America to submit fake comments using stolen identities in this proceedings?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, we'll be looking into that, Mr. Powell.
Welcome it.
Ms. Gonzalez and Mr. Powell, did either of your organization's consultants or members pay for fake comments using stolen identities to be considered to the docket? Ms. Gonzalez?
No, sir, absolutely not.
Chairman Powell?
No, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Gonzalez, my home state of California is prone to a number of natural disasters, from devastating wildfires to floods and earthquakes. During times of emergency and in the weeks and months that follow, people immediately rush to the web to check evacuation routes to see if their loved ones are safe and to find out if it's even safe to breathe outside. Ms. Gonzalez, if some information sources are taking priority because they paid for it and are unrelated to safety information people are trying to access in these circumstances, how might people's access to such information be affected?
I think, it's long been the consideration of this committee and the FCC that public safety is one of, if not the most important job that we have to do. And we want to make sure that the commission has the full authority to ensure that consumers are protected in those times.
Thank you. Ms. Livier, you gave a few examples of how open access was critical to establish artistic talent. Was the example list you gave exhaustive, or is it the tip of the iceberg?
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, and so you could give other examples if we asked for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I might be asking you to submit a list, if you would, of examples.
I would be happy to do this.
Ms. Dixon, I understand that some smaller ISPs, including Sonic, which serves many of my constituents, raised concerns in a letter to the FCC that Chairman Pai's order would threaten their ability to interconnect with the larger ISPs. I would like to introduce a letter for the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, so ordered.
Ms. Dixon, can you explain the risks to consumers now that the FCC no longer has a framework to address interconnection complaints?
It just creates the same issue. It puts the power in the hands of the larger ISPs. It puts the power in their hands to work with the largest companies on the web, the largest companies in the world, and leaves all the small businesses to have to wait and try to get the leftovers and the back and to go behind it. The interconnection agreements are a very important part of what the FCC needs to continue to regulate.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.